I mean, Canon wouldn't actually create the perfect hybrid camera only to cripple it before it's ever released, right? Let's spend a little bit of time talking about the rumors of the Canon R5c. We live in an incredible era of technology. I think there's not really a month or two that goes by where not some little new piece of technology comes out that just completely blows my mind. It is an incredible, incredible era for those of us that are photographers and videographers. Now, ever since the Canon 5D Mark II came out, those of us that are shooters and videographers have been holding our breath and waiting for the release of what I call the Holy Grail camera. Now, the Holy Grail camera is that perfect, magical hybrid camera. We want a camera that can do incredible, high-end professional photography with no limits. And we want to be able to just flip a switch on that same camera and get incredible video specs at the same time. Now, this camera came very, very close to existence with the current R5. I love the Canon R5. It's by far my favorite professional camera I've ever shot with as far as photography goes. I've used it on global campaigns for clients. It is an incredible camera. It works well. The images are beautiful. The raw files are great. It's an awesome photo camera. And the video side of the Canon R5 is pretty awesome too. I mean, on paper, it is there. It is so close to the perfect hybrid camera. But the so close is a big gap to get, and that is the overheating issues on the current Canon R5 make it a great little camera, but it does make you stressed out on commercial shoots, and I've had commercial shoots where the camera has overheating on me no matter how careful you are. And I've often thought if they could just fix the overheating issue on the video side of the Canon R5, it would be the perfect Holy Grail hybrid camera. Well, Canon heard our cries and our prayers, and they have announced the rumored Canon R5c, which is basically just a modified Canon R5 with a body that's a little bit bigger to compensate for the heat from the video and gives us all of those beautiful video characteristics in the Canon R5 without the overheat issue. The Holy Grail camera, we're on the cusp of it. It is right there. Now, what do we know about the Canon R5c as it stands today? Canon is supposed to announce this camera sometime in mid-January. They're speculating between January 11th to January 18th. So we know it's coming. The announcements, the rumors on this are very, very strong now. It should come there. And the rumors say we should get it between 5 to 6 weeks after the announcement. Now, as you all know, there's a global chip shortage, so there could be some supply chain issues, but that's where we stand right now at the end of 2021, about to flip over into 2022. Now, as we get close to the announcement, we're starting to get a little more solidified about what the R5c is going to be. And I think the first thing people are wondering is the price. And I've heard all kinds of crazy prices on this. But right now, there is a statement on Canon Rumors that says that it will be cheaper than the current price of the Canon C70. Now, the C70 comes in at $5,500. And if you look at it, the Canon R5 is right about $3,900 right now. So I'm guessing if I had to put money on it, that we can look at the R5c right about the $4,500 range. I think that sounds about right. It's $1,000 cheaper than a C70, so it won't cannibalize those sales per se. And it's about $500-600 more than the Canon R5. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be the sweet spot. $4,500 is probably what we're going to pay for the R5c, which if it does everything that it says it can do on paper, is going to be an incredibly awesome price for what you can get. Now, there's been a lot of rumored specs about what's going to be on there. Some of them I've heard over and over again, so I consider them pretty good rumors. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a list right here of those specs. I'm not going to spend this video going over them. I know one thing that I'm actually really excited about is that they're going to include XF AVC codec options on the camera in addition to MP4s, which if you do video is awesome because the current codecs that you record on the Canon R5 are just so clunky. They just kill Adobe Premiere. And to have XF AVC, which I have on C300s and shot a lot with, is great. It's a very, very easy format to edit. And it will be incredible to get that. I'm actually really, really excited about that. Now, there is one worrying detail that has emerged in all the rumor specs that I've seen on the Canon R5c. And it's in between the lines, you have to look at it, but the question is, could Canon be ready to release the Canon R5c, potentially the best hybrid photography video camera in the history of technology, without an EVF, with no electronic viewfinder? Oh man, I really hope not. There is precedent for it, which has me shaking in my boots as a potential buyer. And if you look over this, the Sony line, last year Sony released the Sony a7S III, and then shortly after they released the Sony FX3, which is just a Sony a7S III without an electronic viewfinder and a couple more mounting options on it. Now, for Sony, this can make sense. I think most people getting the a7S III got it as a video camera. It's a 12 megapixel camera, and you know, most of us aren't going to go in commercial applications with a 12 megapixel camera in 2022. The Canon R5 is 45 megapixels. It's a very, very different equation when you're coming in and talking about the camera. Now, why do I think there might not be an EVF on the R5c? Well, I was reading a line on Canon Rumors, and they basically, one of the points they say is that there's going to be separate 3/8 and 1/4 inch mounting points to accommodate optional accessories like an electronic viewfinder or top panel. Now, this has me shaking in my boots, guys. I don't know if this means it'll be a second party EVF and there'll be one in there, or it means there will not be one in the camera itself. Based on what Sony did with the FX3, it tells me this could be an option. And in my opinion, this would be a terrible decision from Canon, and I really, really pray this does not happen. The reason why I think not having an EVF in the R5c would be such a terrible decision is that the current Canon R5 is one of the best photo cameras in the market today. It's got to be, in my opinion, one of the top 3 to 5 photo cameras for commercial purposes in the world today. And would Canon actually release a top-of-the-line, fully professional photo camera without an EVF? I don't know any photographer, professional photographer, that wants to shoot a 45 megapixel high-end professional camera through the back LCD of their screen for most of the day. Yeah, you might use that occasionally if something's in a top spot, but you use that EVF on every single shot you do, just about. This is just kind of a standard for professional photography, and I just can't imagine it not being there as a photographer. I know myself, I would not go on a commercial photo shoot without an EVF because that would make it like shooting on an iPhone the whole time. And, you know, when you're out in the field and stuff, you want to have that EVF. You want to look through and get all your information on your camera and shoot that way. The other thing that I really would hope they don't use the EVF is on the video side. I mean, while I'd love the ability to mount a more professional EVF as an option for video work, the current R5 EVF is great. It's very, very reliable for photo work. I can use it for focus. I use it for good color rendition. And I actually use it all the time when I'm in the field. Even when I have an Athens or other big monitor on top of my camera, I still find myself using the EVF on my Canon R5 for video all the time. And really the great crime of removing the EVFs is that it would also make that camera no longer that perfect holy grail hybrid camera that it so desperately wants to be. And it would really be heartbreaking to get this close to our dream hybrid camera only to have its photo usability crippled in such a devastating way. Now, at this stage, as I'll say, these are all rumors. This is speculation based on what I'm starting to see now, but we're only a few weeks away from the official announcement of the Canon R5c, and these rumors are starting to firm up a lot more. You're seeing a lot more consistency in it. So let's just hope and pray that Canon does not take away that beautiful hybrid camera that we've all been waiting for so long and gives us the camera that it wants to be and it needs to be for what we need. Anyway, guys, we'll have to wait till mid-January to find out, but I hope I'm wrong. I really want the R5c to knock it out of the park. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and I'd love to hear what you think about this. Please leave me any comments if you have anything down below. And yeah, guys, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.